Welcome to week 14, 13, 14, 16? Week 14, Pickcast.
Yay!
Woo! Excited. Mondo would say something, but he doesn't care, and he has a mouthful of food. Perfect timing. So, here we are after
It's pretty
13
early
weeks of...
in the morning.
It's almost noon, so it's perfectly fine. We have me being at 44 and 37. We have Armando at 49, 32, and Andy at 50 and 31.
First one to 50.
Things are getting close between those two after last week. Armando made one game headway. Me and Andy both went 4 and 5, while Mondo went 5 and 4. He got lucky on the pick, so here we are though. Week 14.
You said get lucky in picks?
Oh, and I don't suck. You
You
poke
did
the
get
fire.
lucky in picks.
Gotta stoke it. Make him
I
speak.
didn't get lucky at all.
You obviously got lucky on one of them.
I don't get lucky at all. We should be tied right now.
No.
Oh.
Not once I build the lead.
But of course, your guys just bust the legislation rules and stuff. But anyways,
I don't know what you're talking about. You should be a couple down actually, because when you picked the Bengals that night.
I should be 2 games ahead of Mondo because he picked the Bears on Thursday and I picked the Cowboys. So, but like we said, we don't do the Thursday night games.
Yeah, Mondo said Bears were going to win by 2 touchdowns, and then that went well.
yeah, they only didn't because B. Marsh, had that collapsed lung out for the rest of the year, or else they would have.
What did happen to him?
You had broke some
Collapsed
ribs.
lung.
Really?
Yeah.
They have not ruled him out for the last game of the season though.
T.O. said he's available for the Bears.
T.O. probably better receive from Brandon Marshall.
T.O. probably paid that corner to need B. Marsh like that so he can get
How
signed by the Bears.
painful is a collapsed lung? It looked like he was in pain.
Yeah.
Looked like maybe it was just like him and kidney. It was like,
I'm
my
surprised because
kidney.
the hit wasn't even that bad.
That was just a knee.
Just a normal hit.
But collapsed lung sounds like violent. Painful.
It's because it is.
Oh, you had a collapsed lung? Didn't know that.
Yeah. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the first game. We got the supposed best division in football, the NFC or AFC North, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Bengals playing early game. It's in Cincinnati. Who wins? Bengals leading the division right now with 2-game lead. Or 1-game lead.
I'm just
however.
picking this because Andy Dalton sucks. I'm going with the Steelers.
Steelers.
Going Bengals.
Going bangs.
Because
AJ Green.
my name's Andy too. That's the only reason why.
All you need.
Yeah, you're a better quarterback than Andy Dalton.
You're right. Got Colts, Browns.
You're not picking?
I did. I said picking the Bengals because AJ Green.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I said that.
I don't know.
I don't think he said that.
I said that, and then you're like,
I think you just said that in your head.
no, because then you're like, because the quarterback. My name's Andy too.
Anyways,
I said
next
it.
game.
I said it before you did,
I don't think so.
and you copied my pick. So remember that. So we have Colts, Browns. It's be easy. Colts all day. Couple touchdowns. Browns continue their streak closer to being 500 or worse.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer, the starting quarterback. Give me the Colts.
The incumbent.
I should pick the Colts.
But Menzel might get that second half.
Manziel might get that second half. I'm going Browns.
We're talking Andrew Luck, which I saw a thing today saying that he's on target. I don't know if it was through 3 seasons or whatever to have the best beginning career in NFL history. With wins, with yards and touchdowns and everything else. You're gonna go against Brian Hoyer. Come on, man. Come on, son.
Ooh, come on, man.
Ravens, Dolphins. It's in Miami.
That'd be an interesting matchup right there.
Ravens coming off a loss
If
to the Chargers.
in Miami, then we know they be getting jiggy with it in Miami. Go Dolphins.
Dan Marino will be there
The
watching.
Ravens, on that note.
I'm going.
They haven't been jiggy with it since the Fresh Prince left.
Fresh Sure about
after
that?
he made that video.
They got Brett Grimes, man. The
Yeah, Brett
Grimes.
Grimes.
Who had the
Oh,
best
actually, he might
best
show up this
catch of the
time.
They shut
year.
down
He took about 2 weeks off, and maybe he'll be back this week.
Ravens Steve Smith. I'm going Dolphins. I don't think the Ravens that good. That division's overrated. So they're gonna lose again.
You
And
think the Dolphins are that good? All right.
Dolphins are alright. They're your team.
They ain't no better than the offensive line suspect. Then you got a little two team tandem going in there.
Tannehill's playing pretty good ball though, so I'm gonna do it. Ravens angry over Ray Rice being reinstated. Come out flat. All right, like any other analysis, they try to connect the dots. Rams Redskins. It's in Washington. I'd be embarrassed if the Rams
We're
losses.
picking this game?
Yeah, we're picking it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
RG3 is on the bench. Colt McCoy getting their start. He likes to kill dreams. You know, so he might remind. But I think the Rams can take care of it, especially if they play anything like they did last week when they embarrassed the Raiders.
So you're picking Rams?
Yeah, I'm picking it, of course.
Then I must pick the Redskins.
I'm picking the Rams for this battle of under 500 game right here.
This really pathetic game.
As we move closer to be, we might finish over 500. The schedule we have left is a possibility. At least 8-8. No.
Yeah, Cowboy season.
Yeah,
Yeah, finally over the hump.
yeah. There you go.
Now
Cowboys.
it's time for the Rams to start taking that torch.
I know, man. Imagine if we had a quarterback like Tony Romo that could throw the ball. We'd be easily over 500 right now. But alas, we don't. We've had 3 different quarterbacks in at one time.
Hell, next year you got Eli Manning.
I get no Eli Manning. Eli Manning
Man.
sucks.
You guys would be like at least like a couple games better. Win probably 2 more games
Eli?
with Eli.
Like when?
I bet
They
you yeah.
would.
Are you kidding me? Tavon Austin with that deep ball? The only thing that Eli can actually do?
Yeah, but he has to throw all the other routes. Not seen him throw all the other routes on TV. He can't hit any other route.
The Rams got like a way better running game than the Giants did.
Yeah, but
Way better
Eli
offensive
Manning's
line.
throwing. Is what I'm not worried about him coming in and hand the ball off.
Eli Manning is
A two-time
like
Super Bowl
Philip
winner.
Rivers 2.0. When they have a great running game, then they're a great quarterback. So if he went to the Rams, you guys would be set.
Yeah, you guys would probably
I don't
win
wanna-
like 9 games.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Wow.
It's far away from the team.
He doesn't want 9 wins anymore. Don't you know?
I
Bo
don't-
Pelini got fired. That's why.
Yeah, it's going back down.
I don't want 28 interceptions. You know, it's not me. 20 interceptions gives defense tough positions. Eli Manning's the king of interceptions these days.
Wouldn't that be the key? Because then your great defensive line would just get to play more.
I'm not one's playing 80% of the
Pretty
day.
sure when Eli won the Super Bowl, he threw about maybe 70 picks that season.
Yeah, right.
But the Giants' defense probably had like 5 defensive touchdowns. So.
I'd rather just have 5 decent touchdowns and no picks. Little picks, less than 20. No, I would rather get Nick Foles than have Eli Manning. Eli just needs to die a Giant. Do everyone a favor.
Cardinals and Chiefs.
Cardinals, Chiefs.
I'm
going
going
Chiefs.
with Jamal Charles.
I'm going the Cardinals offense look garbage again for the next, for the how many games in a row. So I'm gonna go ahead and
I think the Cardinals are going to end up finishing second because I think the Seahawks are catching fire and starting to peak at the right time and
just have a
go
game,
in and get
game
that,
against each other.
Going
get that
Cardinals.
first division.
Eventually, you'll be right. 'Cause eventually, you can't continue this losing streak. 2 games in a row.
Of the Cardinals?
You know, I'm beating you by 6 games in predictions, right?
Yeah, well, the way this week's going,
Fighting
might
words.
be even after this week.
Bills and Broncos, I'm going to Broncos. Even though it's going to be a tougher game than people think.
You see that after every Broncos game.
Hey, Marcel Darius? Son,
Yeah,
easily
Marcel
top
Darius.
5 defensive lineman in the league.
Yeah, one player doesn't mean the defense can cover all.
Son, if you got Manny Ramirez on your offensive line, Marcel Darius
top
is
5
going to
lineman.
look like Reggie White out there, okay?
Sammy Watkins is going to come in this game and have a career day.
Well, I don't know about that.
With
We got
Broncos.
another rookie, Bradley Roby.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be covering him.
Calm down.
Hey, I'm just saying.
This is their best receiver.
Chris Harris.
But before I was interrupted, the Broncos are still going to win this game.
But you predict Sammy Watkins have a big game.
Yeah.
I predict Kyle Orton to not have a big game against his former team.
Von Miller comes in, gets 3 sacks against Kyle Orton. 'Cause Kyle Orton can't move in the pocket.
Oh, he can move.
And Denver shows
The
Kyle
Bills
Orton why
are
he
going
left.
to introduce the 2-quarterback system here.
Yeah, him and the Sammy Watkins.
EJ.
Yeah. Broncos will show why they got rid of Kyle Orton for Tim Tebow. He's not that good.
He's a game manager.
Go Broncos. Win big.
Boy, calm down.
10 plus.
Not big.
You think the Bills will hang in?
Right here. Good game.
10 points isn't like that big though.
In the NFL it is.
Seahawks, Eagles. Andy, I know who you're picking on this one.
I don't think you do.
No,
I know you're not picking the Eagles.
Lay it on us.
The one-game lead on the Cowboys? You want to go in as the wild card?
Picking the Eagles.
Dang. It's in Philly, huh?
I'm going Seattle. Seattle's run game is looking a lot better.
A lot better. It's always been there.
What I really mean is actually giving the ball to Marshawn instead of just passing the ball the whole time. They're learning. It means winning.
I'm having deja vu. I swear Evan has that whole sentence written down because I swear I've heard him say that 4 times this year already.
You're just going crazy because you keep thinking about how the Eagles are number 1 in your division. It's rotting your brain. I'm going Seahawks. Marshawn this big day eats up that Eagles defense. Shady McCoy back to early Shady McCoy this year as the Seahawks defense continues to get better.
We'll see. I'm going with the Seahawks too, but Mark Sanchez, he could prove to be a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick if he wins this game.
Or you could try Sherman. Sherman starts padding those pick
Cap threw
stats.
2 picks, and they didn't look very, very explosive on the offensive side of the ball in that Seahawks-Niners game last week.
Kaepernick reminds me of somebody. Just somebody that maybe like a Jay Cutler who has the potential, but it just...
Yeah, but he's a little younger, got some couple more years to develop.
Same with Jay Cutler though. He was young, he had a strong arm, and you just kept waiting for him to develop and become that quarterback.
You said the same.
And he just never did, and that's where Colin Kaepernick
Should have been MVP according to Brandon Marshall.
is heading.
He could have. Hey, he could have. Once he left the Broncos. Down the hill.
This is game of the week. New England coming off a loss.
You think that's game of the week? It's Seahawks Eagles.
You think Seahawks Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way more on the line than the Chargers
You're talking about
Patriots game.
Patriots lose this game?
Battle of the Birds.
They don't have number 1 seed anymore?
Yeah, but they still have home field advantage.
Yeah, but no number 1 seed. If Denver goes in, they get the home field.
Yeah, but I mean,
Chargers?
either ways, it's looking like possibly Broncos Patriots
I don't know what
rematch.
you're talking about. Chargers win. All of a sudden, they're looking like a tougher competition for the Broncos. That not
who
only
you
number
got?
1 seed, but also
Picking Chargers then?
no. I'm just saying both sides. There's a good amount of.
Well, if you pick
pressure on both sides.
Chargers,
It's the Seahawks.
I'm picking Patriots.
No, I'm thinking Patriots.
Look
with
at
the Chargers.
Copy me, bro.
Look at
Yeah,
hold
okay.
on. Seahawks Eagles.
9-3.
Eagles 1 game up on Cowboys in that division. Seahawks a game back. Way more on the line in that one than
You realize the Eagles...
wild card team right now.
Yeah.
And the Patriots.
yeah, but...
Yeah, but if they beat the Patriots, obviously it's gonna look pretty good when they rematch the Broncos, having
Alright.
a chance to.
Y'all mentioned Eagles have a 1 game lead on Cowboys.
Yeah.
Eagles have the same record as the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's what you should have brought up.
Well, they got the lead. If they either ways, there's both teams
They're potentially the
have
best
a
team
lot
in the NFC,
to
though.
get into the win.
Record-wise.
Yeah, this could be a
Yeah, I agree with
game
you.
of the century.
Battle of the Birds.
No game of the century. Anything the Eagles are in, not gonna be game of the century.
Oh,
Not the team they have.
wait.
Next week it will be.
Anyway, so that's the game of the week,
No.
and then there's that game.
Next week is going to be the game of the week and the game of the century.
Yeah, the Cowboys, Eagles.
Rematch.
Wait, sorry, you're talking about Thursday night, the Rams and the Cardinals.
Hey, let's bring up one good point.
Ooh, too bad we don't do Thursday night.
I know, that'd be
Because,
an easy Rams pick.
Cardinals offense, 44 points.
Yeah.
From the Rams.
In St. Louis.
Yep.
Peyton Manning couldn't even do that. He expects.
Andy brings
Juice
up a
State can do
good
that.
point. Hey, Manning, I don't know what he did that game. They didn't even give the
Juice
ball to
State.
C.J. Anderson. I might go with the Cardinals in that game.
I can't
we
believe
should pick that game.
I can't believe you didn't pick you picked Cardinals this week, even though Andre Ellington's not playing.
Okay.
Just saying, that's one less offense. It's like taking a leg off of a 3-legged dog and trying to expect it to run a race when both legs are on the same side.
Oh, hey, he's doing all right, but it's not like he's their whole offense.
Yeah, but you take away another piece. They already lost Carson Palmer. That's one
Hey,
leg.
we're down to our third running back, and he's gotten like 25 points of fantasy for like 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Evan,
different than
being biased never helps.
biased.
Oh, hey.
Ever since you said that the Cardinals' offense is good, I've seen garbage the last like 3 or 4 weeks.
And
but-
So you take away their biggest piece in terms of production right now. Because
Eventually
Stu Stan
you
can't
to-
get him the
to
ball.
defend your claims.
To defend it, I don't need to defend it. They're 9-3.
And
They've won games.
Yeah, but since you told me with their offense,
Their offense
They
has to
scored-
put up points to win games.
they scored 14 points as their high in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
No, it's a
14
bad
points.
stretch.
And they're 1-2. So I'm just saying. You
You're
talking about how high
just
your
eating
offense
it
is?
up, man.
How high your offense is?
You know what?
That's not
sensing-
my offense.
we're-
My offense is the Cowboys.
I'm
Just
just
put
saying,
up 41 points on the Bears.
You talked about how everyone's doing that, but you're talking about how the Cardinals'
the
offense is so
Rams
good, so underrated. But here's what they're doing.
All right, everyone. Evan has a passion of hate towards the Cardinals because there's extreme bias because the same division. It's the Rams. So
I'm just calling Andy out on
you
his.
can see why he's so passionate about it.
There's a reason no one's talking about their offense. So when you try to bring up talking about it, it's because they're not good.
And let's just bring up the fact when I said that they had Carson Palmer, a healthy Andre
You
Ellington,
still talked about it.
and a healthy Larry Fitzgerald.
Now they're all
They don't have any of that now.
going down. Might finish third in the division.
Still ahead of the Rams.
Good
They
teams
watch
don't
it.
lose twice in a row. I'm going with the Patriots.
I'm going Patriots too.
I want Patriots. Say it again. Patriots.
Just to let people know that Phillip Rivers is garbage quarterback.
Could be a close game though. You know, they're both in the AFC. Five
I don't
for
think it's
seed.
gonna be a close game at all.
No,
Is that Monday night?
no. That's Sunday night. Monday night is the Hawks and Pacers. Just kidding. We really have the Falcons,
That Monday night?
and the Packers. I'm thinking Packers.
Ooh! Is that home for them?
Yeah. Lambeau. Why don't you just continue to pick against them? That's been good
No,
for
because
you.
then if I pick them, what if the Falcons upset them? Then it's like, damn it.
That's good for everyone.
Decisions, dude.
Yeah, I'm going with the bad man Aaron Rodgers. Get that discount double check.
Yeah, I gotta go with Packers too.
I mean, is there any other? I mean, this is a possible chance for the Falcons to be number one in their division, but it's the Packers.
Let's face it.
The Packers playing good ball.
Something happened either with the offensive coordinator or something that Matt Ryan is not playing like Matt Ryan usually does. I'm not saying that he is really, really, really good, but at the same time, it's like, oh, come on. With all they have on offense, they're only 5-7.
They it's just the running game.
I think it's just haven't been healthy. I think it's. I mean, beginning of the season, they had offensive line troubles. So when we talked about, like in the first week or two, they used a tight end as a lineman because they didn't have any others. They're all injured.
That's very true.
So I think
but
they're starting to
still.
get a little healthier, and they're starting to play a little better because they're 5-7 now. But
They got Julio, Steven Jackson.
Steve Jackson's doing all right. He's had some big things for him. It's just I think the line's been hurting him, and so he's been getting hit a lot, and he's the NFC South.
When
Matthew Stafford.
Matt Ryan had Michael Turner. Matt Ryan was a good quarterback.
Turner Burner.
Then according to
I
Mondo
used them on Madden one time.
standards, that puts him in the category of Eli Manning and Philip Rivers as a quarterback who does good with good running back.
Whoa, hey, Eli Manning, he has a
most
resume to prove.
Quarterbacks do very well.
But no, there's
The
a different
running game.
standard where it's like they're good quarterbacks when they have those, otherwise they're average or worse.
Let's look at the guys who don't need a running game. We got Aaron Rodgers. Before Eddie Lacy got there, he was still doing pretty dang good. He didn't really need.
When we're
a
talking
running
about
game.
Aaron Rodgers, I keep thinking about, everyone talks about how good of a coach Mike McCarthy is.
Mike McCarthy is basically like John Fox's brother.
He's had
Their quarterbacks make them look good.
He's had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks because Aaron Rodgers will be Hall of Fame. Especially if he keeps up what he's doing. And then before that, he had Brett Favre. Of course, you're going to look good when you have those 2 as quarterbacks.
I don't know. We
Sorry,
got
this is-
John Fox,
John Fox is a good coach.
Mike McCarthy. He's alright, but
I mean,
he's
he's
too
pretty
much.
good.
John Fox is
He brought the
pretty good.
Panthers to Super Bowl.
And Jimmy Rhodes, all people who fell into great tools with them to make them look like good coaches.
No,
It's all part of the plan.
Jimmy Rhodes. You talking like wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling.
And then you talking about football.
Or
Yeah.
maybe that's just destiny setting itself up.
That's very true.
All right. Anyway, so we're saying we have we had Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning always does it with that running game. In his career, he's done it with that running game for most of it. He's had some help.
Andrew James.
He had some help, but I mean, he's shown he can do without it though.
Yeah, but just bring up the Rams game as a fact. Couldn't run the ball. Team didn't play
It's not
well.
they couldn't run.
They
didn't want to.
It
run
couldn't
the
run.
ball.
Yeah, say
Yeah,
they did.
but-
They passed so much. I was so surprised. But I mean, though, you get them, those 2. Tom Brady, obviously. 'Cause Tom Brady's had a lot of time where I mean, now he has kind of a
To be
plethora of
fair,
running backs.
if you watch Patriots game, they never struggle.
Yeah?
The Patriots never struggle
That's not true.
running the ball.
Oh. They just
Well,
don't...
that's because they're one of the best teams to throw in out of the backfield, have the running back go out and catch passes.
Well, they're all about
so
the
it's like, you know,
mismatches.
like
Hmm.
they have a good, they
Belichick,
do a
but
good
when
job
they
of
run-
setting it up.
They get yards.
You know, LeGarrette Blunt, of course you're gonna, you know,
When you get the
get that steam.
I don't even know his name. Otis Gray, who runs for 200
Jonas?
yards and 4 touchdowns out of nowhere, and then he's gone. Like, where's he been?
Well, it's because he missed a meeting.
Yeah, he's basically
That's
Matt Flynn
the Patriots
at the running
for
back
you.
position.
He's like
Garrett Blunt
Zach
last
Stacy.
year, who had
LeGarrette Blunt
300
been-
yards in
been
2 games.
and then let,
And then they cut him.
and then look what happens. He comes back for a poor contract. All part of Bill Belichick's plan.
He signed with the Steelers
Chad
for
Masters.
more money, but then the Steelers were like, "We got Le'Veon Bell, sorry, bro." And then
No, they're
back
like,
up with Bill Belichick.
you left the field during the game. We can't handle that here. Get you out of here. And then look at Chad Masters working his magic. Got Le'Veon Bell, or not Le'Veon Bell. Got LeGarrette Blunt for cheaper. And he's on the team now. All what he wanted. Part of the plan of Chad
Evil
Masters,
plan.
man.
Cowboys finally got 9 wins after 4 seasons.
It's crazy.
It's all because of the run game.
Man, that might be going back in the '90s.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, because then at the end of the '90s, then that means Broncos will be making another push
Yeah.
at the end of the decade.
And then we'll just
Yeah.
close the decade out with a Rams Super Bowl. I'm kidding. So
Hey, it's all right. You get one. Andy gets what, 3? I get 2.
Yeah, that'll give us 8 Super Bowls total. 4 for the Broncos.
Yeah,
yeah.
2 for the Rams.
I just, got to do, we go by halves here. 2, 4, 8. So one more last thing. I was reading this article talking about the,
Oh, wait, we're not done. We barely got done with the NFL. We got to talk about the Nebraska Huskers and the hiring of their
Time
new
out.
coach.
we didn't talk about till season starts. You can't talk about coaches not even in there getting his coordinators in
Yeah,
yet.
but you're a Nebraska fan. Nebraska's torn. Half of them is like,
No, it's like
good, we got rid of Bo
3-4
Pelini.
3/4 are like,
Half
why
of
we get
them
rid
is
of Bo?
like, why would we get rid of Bo Pelini?
I just want to say, living in Nebraska, Nebraska fans are very delusional people.
you're delusional. All Cowboy fans are delusional. No, all right.
Nebraska fans are very
All right, so I'll-
delusional.
I'll put an inside state perspective. Here's how this last week has been. When you heard Bo Pelini got fired, you had everyone around the area saying, "Oh, that's stupid, dumb choice, dumb choice." You had players saying that. You had former players come out saying, "It needed to be done." He wasn't getting it done. They were looking at facts and whatever else. So you had those aspects. You had some people like just that were fans that said that was a good fire. Not
They
surprised.
fired him because he didn't win the big games.
No, he did not win them. He usually got blown out in the big games. But people are happy with just getting 9 wins and losing the big games every year and playing in the Florida Carr Meineke Bowl.
Because that always gave them hopes for the next season that they were going to go 11-1. Because some with Nebraska, they always have an easy stretch of 6 games where they win. All they do is win. And Nebraska fans go crazy and they go, why aren't we in the top 5? Blah, blah, blah.
And then we play a team that gets good and ranked,
Yeah,
and then we get destroyed.
Yep.
And then we're like, fire Bo. But then when it actually happens, they're like, why'd you fire Bo? People are complaining. So then we hire Mike Riley, the old coach at Oregon State, and people around here are like, who's Mike Riley? Oh, look at these stats. They just lost to Oregon this much. Da 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 da. Why'd they hire him? This makes no sense. That's around the area. You go to college analysts are like, that's a great hire. He's an excellent coach. Voted underrated this year, earlier by all the coaches, and most underrated. They're like going on and on, talking about how he's a good coach and he should be able to do better, given the fact that he's not Oregon's little brother. He has a lot better facilities and not trying to fight recruits away from Oregon. He just has more going for him here than he did at Oregon State. More resources.
It could look like that. We don't know who's the bigger or littler brother between you and UNL and UNK right now.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to distinguish.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
But back to the recruiting.
UNK's like on a 3-game winning season the last 3 years.
The only thing that helped Nebraska out of this in terms of
Shout
recruiting,
out to UNK.
Yeah, shut up. Is for them to go on trips and telling players, we want to turn this program around, and you have a very good shot of playing on the field right away. And that's the only good advantage they get for recruiting.
No, there'd be other things.
Hold on,
It'd be,
can you pull up the Nebraska's rankings for recruiting classes
It's
for the
been
past
like-
5 years?
It's been in that like 25 to 30 range last few years.
Yeah, and you can't expect to go on, and try to win a national championship without having at least one good year of a solid recruiting class.
The team Huskers had this year, it wasn't. They had a win out if they won championship, but with some better coaching in some areas, they definitely would have had maybe one, maybe lost, whatever. Because like say a team like Wisconsin, we wouldn't have got all ran over if we had better coaching and better schemes.
That was coaching and
was coaching.
Players quitting on the field.
Or
Yeah,
it
but
was the talent you had.
I think the talent was good enough to do that. It was the fact I don't think coaching was good enough in terms of I don't think coordinators were that good. I've never been high on either coordinator. So I don't think coordinators were good. Like play calling wasn't great. I've seen plenty of terrible calls. So I'm hoping that the new guy, Mike Riley, brings in some new coordinators that'll be willing to, because they got him for a steal because they thought they're gonna spend like 5-7 million. I think they spent maybe 2.5 mil on him. So they got saved a good little chunk of money. I think they're able to use on coordinators. They're able to bring in better people to be able to call better plays instead of we're running the ball well. Let's throw the ball a bunch. The classic whatever. So I think he's gonna be. I'm excited to see him because I've heard he's a great coach. He's a good coach. He's also but like off the field, people love him in terms of just his heart behind things and everything
nice
else.
guy, that's what they were saying.
Kind of like Bo Pelini.
No, they said Bo Pelini was more of a meaner.
He's a meaner guy.
Coach in their face.
I
Like
heard,
a lot of people
he was the
compared him
people's-
to Rex Ryan.
Yeah, and everybody loves Rex Ryan. That
Yeah, from
plays
New
for
York.
I say here's the theory.
And like players and people from that place, just like Bo
Damian
Pelini.
Tomlinson, Bart Scott, Sean Ellis.
I wouldn't mind if he was the defense coordinator on my team, but for me, if he came in and was the head coach, I'd been like, well, I still got to cheer for him, but it's gonna be painful cheering. Like,
Let's see.
Rex Ryan. Let's talk about the rankings, Andy, because I know I've heard the rage from you about this Florida State being number 4. Let the listeners know the fury inside of you.
Why are you hitting the table?
Because Andy look at his veins right now. He's about to karate chop this table in half.
And you have to karate chop it for him.
I'm just lightly doing that. Yeah, I'm loosening it up so when Andy does karate chop it, his hand doesn't hurt that much.
Look, I'm not the only one upset about the playoff rankings. I mean, everyone in Baylor's pretty pissed off too.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
But the fact that Florida State has basically been 22-0. They've won every game. They won national championship last year, so even though maybe it's not the greatest talent that they're going up against, they're still everyone's giving their A game because everyone they go up against wants to be the team that beats Florida State. So that's why there've been so many close games. Everyone's saying Florida State's just not as good. They don't have the talent yet to keep winning. Even after everything that's happening with Jameis Winston, after every headline accusation, they keep winning. Kind of like what happened a few years ago with Cam Newton. I just think.
I think Cam Newton was a little bit more of a beast than Jameis has been. When Auburn went on that.
Won a Heisman and national championship and went undefeated, just like Cam Newton when Jameis Winston did as a freshman.
Yeah, but he also had a lot more tools than Cam did when he had Auburn.
I'm not quite sure about that.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Because, definitely the analysts and playoff committee would probably agree with that, but...
I also I want to make a comparison between teams. You brought up the Cam Newton-led Auburn Tigers. I'm going to compare this Florida State team to the Manti Te'o-led Notre Dame team. I just don't see them really playing well against the higher, how would you put this?
That's what people thought last year with Auburn going in. They thought it was going to be a blowout, and look what happened. They came back and beat Auburn.
Well, Auburn, everybody was watching
in
Auburn.
the final minute, just like That's what they do. Yeah.
That's what they did. That's what they're doing last year. No, they weren't.
they're
Doing
doing
they
it
did
this
some
year,
big
too.
games, but they also.
So you go from saying Nebraska could beat Florida State to defending Florida
No, I'm
State.
saying when we were talking about it, we were talking about the teams they almost lost to. I said Nebraska would have had a chance to beat them, but I think they haven't lost. Why would you keep knocking them down if they haven't lost since 2012?
And to compare that Notre Dame team that went undefeated, that Notre Dame team didn't win the national championship and go undefeated the previous year.
I'm talking about playing in the national championship. Hey, Bear brought it up at college game day that if he looked at the strength of schedule between the Notre Dame team that went to the national championship and this Florida State team, and then Notre Dame team had a tougher schedule than the Florida State team did.
I think you go by the fact that they haven't lost. They're in a Power 5 conference, the big conferences, and they haven't lost in 2 years. You don't take them out of playoffs or knock them to fourth because they were given that schedule. They won the games they needed to win.
And you have to give credit because there is that politic side that Florida State is persevering through, which is all the accusations with James Winston. He's in the headlines consistently, constantly.
He's always
Right,
he's been on all these hearings.
But we can't say
getting dogged on constantly. Yeah, he
that
comes out any
he's
place.
innocent or not yet. We don't.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's winning through it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Now I see what you're saying, but what I mean though is like
What
we can't say he's.
Manti Te'o had the girlfriend thing, and they got blown out in the national championship. That was the only thing that was with Manti Te'o that whole year. And the
But
one
you
thing
look at
about
it,
the
though-
girlfriend, their team
But he's
got destroyed.
a lot of people looked at Manti Te'o as the leader of that team, and the reason why they made it to the national championship, which I disagree that they shouldn't even have played in.
They shouldn't
But
have been in it.
hey, that's not what we get paid to do. We all got little jobs we got here. We're not paid to come out and rank these teams and put who we think should be in the championship or the playoffs.
But I think Oregon probably should be number one. Not sure if Alabama should be number
They should
one.
be number one.
I
after
don't
last
disagree
week.
with that. All I'm saying is that
He's
if,
someone put Oregon first.
along this Florida
The fact
State
that
wins,
TCU is ahead of Florida State is ridiculous.
as long as Florida State wins, no matter how close the game would be, they're going to be in the top.
I'm not.
regardless.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got knocked out.
Well, I'm just
The way the
thinking.
media is.
But if they lose, then
They're-
that's going to
I wouldn't be-
spark some controversy
they'll
onto
be out.
if they're out or in.
And basically, they were on like a one-game schedule. Like if they lose, they're automatically out of the playoff talk.
Yeah, if they
schedule.
lose, then obviously then I was wrong.
But then whatchamacallit brought up a good point. Is like, hey, if they lose, then they'd automatically be in two because then they'd have a quality loss like a bunch of the other teams in the
No, and this
the top four.
they've been saying it since the beginning of the year. If Florida State loses, they're out, but they haven't lost. Yeah, I've heard rumors that saying if a team like Ohio State comes out and just dominates, a team like Baylor, if they come out and dominate, that
Right now-
they could possibly jump Florida State.
From the way that
Yeah.
they're talking
If Florida
about,
State go 2 years in a row undefeated, not win 2 national championships.
is that all they have to do is win and they're in. Ohio State is looking like the team that's up there, but is going to move back, even if depending on how they play.
And then
They look like the team
I
that's
feel
going
like
to move
with
back.
Ohio State, this would be the second year in a row they kind of get screwed over a bit.
Yeah, but I mean that's
How they
the
screwed
way
last
they're
year.
that's the way it
Well,
sounds with them talking. It's
Ohio
like,
State, I guess I would have put in the position as Florida State this year, a team that just they won every game, they went undefeated. I felt like they deserved more talk to be in the national championship.
They lost in the conference championship. They got blown out by Michigan State.
Yeah, but before that point.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I want to talk about. We talked about Bo Pelini and like what people loved him. And I found the thing my friend said about. We talked about Rex Ryan, same idea, Coach. Here's what he said that Colin Cowherd talked about. Cause you listened to the show.
oh yeah, hey, he said some very good things.
So here's what
I
he
wonder
said.
if he's gonna bring up the bad stuff that.
No, this
Colin
isn't
said about
say
him.
why people love Rex Ryan. This is all.
I'm talking about Nebraska, the university,
No, I'm
and
talking
the
about.
fans.
I'm talking about. Here's what he said. People love Rex because he's a guy's guy. The players and fans love him because he has a big personality. He's funny. He's a blue collar guy, tough working guy, and people love that. He just, he fits, fits the idea of what they want the Jets coach to be like. Same idea for maybe not all the way, but same way for Bo. People love him because he's got that personality, even though he has that other side where he gets frustrated and cuss whatever, cuss a storm up. The media sees it. But at the same time, reporters love him because the stuff he says, stuff he does, antics like that. The fans love him because Bo's a hardworking guy. and stuff like that. So that's why when they got fired, they're mad about. But they don't look past that and see the numbers we talked about, like the not winning the big games or whatever else. So that's why people were so angry Bo left, because they had that real connection with him. New guy though, bribed his players at Oregon State if they win, they get In-N-Out burger. Jesus, man.
Another thing Colin
Two good qualities
talked about that I guess your friend didn't put in there was coaches with personality. The kind of coaches that win games are the coaches that don't have the personality. Coaches that seem cold-hearted and such that, like Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, and then you go to the pros, Bill Belichick. Coaches like that are the ones that win.
I know. I'm just saying that's why people love him. That's
So Colin said at that point when he mentioned that, even though Nebraska has this new coach, it's still going to be the same stuff. 9 games a year.
Colin doesn't know.
Hey, he brought statistics. He said Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, they're the only coaches that have a winning percentage in big games against ranked
25
teams. So he brought up the fact that it's hard for anybody to win. That's what he was saying.
Yeah,
he kind of offended Bo. He's like, you're going to let this guy go because he can't win the big games. And then he's like, well, a lot of coaches can't win
I think it'd be one thing if you barely lost games, but the fact is, some of the big games, he's gotten blown out by 30-some points. You think you're supposed to be good? You can't be getting blown out by 30-some points.
That's true, but you guys, the Nebraska fans need to understand that it was all glory in the 90s.
No, so the problem
But
is,
it's going to be a while before you guys get back on track.
you can see the games, the big games, some of them they lose. You can see the coaching errors. You can see how bad they're getting out-coached.
That's very true, but sometimes the players are the ones that lift the team over that hump besides the coaches. You can't just put it on the coaches, it's the players too.
I know, but there's a point where you can tell where you need to
it's-
make adjustments and you don't make adjustments at halftime.
I think Nebraska's biggest problem is their talent. They just don't have the talent.
I think
other
it's...
places have. When you had Ndamukong Suh, you were a game away from national championship.
No, that's championship. BCS Bowl.
That was...
If you guys would, Texas went to the national championship.
Yeah, but they were
that year.
undefeated. We were like 2 losses, 3
You guys
losses.
beat them.
No, we had like 3 losses.
You had 2 losses. The third one was the Texas game.
So we would have been in BCS Bowl, not national championship.
It's possible.
Right.
But anyway, I'm just saying though.
And you could have had a Heisman winner.
I think we should have. He got robbed that one.
So
If Nebraska would have threw him the ball, we wouldn't have talk about how Texas didn't win the national championship that year because they would have never played in it.
If
Because
this would've-
Ndamukong would have caught that touchdown.
If they just would have kicked the ball in bounds instead of kicking it out of bounds, giving Texas ball at the 40, we would
Hey,
have
see,
been.
that was not a coaching error. That's a kicker's error.
I know.
right
I'm not
there.
saying that every little mistake's a coach's error. Sometimes it's stuff like that. But when you are close in the, when you're beating a team in the first half, and then they come out in the second half and just whoop up on you because you don't do any adjustments, leave your game plan the same, whatever, don't make any changes at all, or like, you're close to a team at half, say like Wisconsin, and like, say, let's take this year, Wisconsin, and they got ran up a lot in the first half, but they're still a close
'cause
game.
Before we rolled into the Wild Wings, Nebraska was up on them.
And then the first half it was close, but then second half Wisconsin kept doing. Nebraska made no adjustments. Melvin Gordon got stronger.
Yeah, he started making them big runs, and you can see players just like not even want to be on the field and no stuff because a lot of people can sit there and be like, they quit and everything like that. But how many people have been in a position like that, where you're basically giving up a record in rushing in football history, and I mean, how you can't really say like this is what I'd feel in that situation because a lot of people obviously haven't even played college football, let alone maybe JV or varsity, and it's kind of hard hearing people say that. It was like, hey, we don't know what they're going through, but then at the end of the day they'll be like, well, look at the tape, and then it's like, well, you can't disagree with them where it looked like some of them.
Yeah, but you look at the coaches, they were getting beat every single time because they're running just outside. Coaches did nothing to try to switch the scheme up to try to stop that. They could have stopped the record because they could have tackled them anytime a couple yards short and it would have been fine.
It was a little weird because you'd think that Melvin Gordon would be the one that get tired, but it looked like the defense got more tired than Melvin Gordon did.
He's had to jog like 30 yards of each run because
He broke
everyone's
some
behind him.
tackles. That one tackle he broke, I was like, man, that was pretty impressive.
There's a couple of big plays. Like some of them, he got to open so fast that he could just jog the rest of the way because Huskers are 10 yards back.
again, I think it's talent.
I think
Because
I think it's talent
2
not
years
being
ago,
grown.
like most delusional Nebraska fans, y'all jumped on Taylor Martinez like he was the next Tebow, and I'm just thinking like, really, Taylor Martinez?
Well, with
You really
Taylor,
think
like
so?
it was when they played Oklahoma that year, and they were leading, and then obviously they ended up not finishing that game with the W. Is
Defense.
he was very young in that game, so you mean he still had room to improve. But then throughout his college career, it's like he never ended up winning the big one, But
And it's the
you
same
see
with
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying?
Nebraska talent, though.
well, yeah, I know, but I'm
Rex
saying it's like
Burkhead.
I think
it's understandable.
Rex
I
for-
heard Evans say he's a Heisman contender.
Rex
no, I'm pretty
Burkhead,
sure you
no.
got him confused with Dio, who gave
I
him
never
the
said that.
Heisman, but
I never said Rex Burkhead served the Heisman.
Dio
but
doesn't get paid to
he was
hand
a
out
hard-
the Heisman Trophy.
He was a hard running player. I think, part of it, there's like a little lack of talent compared to the top schools. But part of it is the one talent Nebraska does have, they don't develop. Like players don't get better, haven't been getting better under Coach Pliny in terms of
And
like
Dominican.
Dominican. Yeah, he got better. He's like one of the few.
Dominican was a grown man by the time he was 18.
Yeah, but the year before he didn't hardly do anything. The year before his senior year, when people like start talking about him, he didn't really do much until like the last game.
Yeah, he's too
like
busy
Colorado.
playing soccer in the off season. Then they're like, "Hey, you can't play soccer no more, son."
But that's the thing with college. I mean, you looked at Calvin Johnson's college career numbers. They're not really that good.
Yeah,
Oh, Demarius Thomas. Not good.
Demarius Thomas
Hey.
had better numbers than
yeah,
Calvin
but they were
Johnson.
average. Hey, Demarius Thomas. His contract's up after this year. He said he'd give the Broncos a discount because he was hurt during the combine, so he wasn't 100%. So all people had off of him was his game film, and he's like, "I'll give the Broncos a hometown discount because they took a chance on him in the first round."
I don't know if that's true, but
No, it is true. I read the article.
Whatever.
He said he's gonna give us a hometown discount.
Nice. So
It'd either be him or Des Bryant. So either way,
Nah,
we
you
would have
don't-
got lucky.
one. I'll talk about article. One last thing before we stop. This is. I was reading this. I don't know where it was on. It was MSN or CBS. I'm like, I was reading an article about the RG3 trade, talking about what the Rams got from it. It's like they're talking about something about how Jeff Fisher said they didn't want him or something, or he'd redo the trade. There's some person that asked that. Of course, he'd redo the trade if he could. Not redo it, but do it again.
all those
And
draft picks is your whole team.
And I was reading a thing and it talked about all the players that got like picked, whoever else. And when they mentioned Zach Stacy and talked about how they got a couple linemen from the pick and now it's a team to benefit Zach Stacy. And I was reading an article like, are you kidding me? I don't know if I've seen Zach Stacy get more than 5 carries in the last 6 weeks. They talk about him being like the featured back on the team. That person didn't even look at stats. They're just throwing names out.
No, to be fair though, the article I read, all he said about Zach Stacy was he's a good young hard runner. That's all he said.
The one I read was like, he said that they build a good line for Zach Stacy to run behind, acting like he was a premier back.
But he also mentioned that with all those draft picks they required 4 defensive starters from them.
Yeah, that's good.
Zach Stacy, though, I mean, he could be your guy's number one, but fortunately, you drafted a guy that blossomed.
I think even before
at
that,
the end of that.
even before that though, they were saying Benny Cunningham.
No,
Start
yeah, I know.
over.
I'm just talking about Trey Mason. Though.
Yeah, no, I'm
Like,
talking about.
this. When he started picking up steam, obviously everybody knows like, okay, well, if we're gonna beat him, we're gonna have to stop Trey Mason, and he continued to just dominate.
So that's the thing is even before that though, Zach Stacy has already pushed the second string, and then Trey Mason came in and jumped both of them. Well, he jumped Zach Stacy
Yeah,
first, and then jumped Benny,
slowly over the year.
and then Zach Stacy's here third string.
I think just running back's just a hard position to evaluate nowadays, just
It
because they're
is,
so recyclable. you know?
And there's not a lot of them getting drafted first round no more. A lot of people aren't sure what's going to happen with Murray because they don't know if the Cowboys are going to want to pay him that much.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it is hard.
If
I
they're
mean,
smart.
you go with the 90s to the early 2000s, it's like, we got to get this running back. We got to get their huge deal.
And talk about
And nowadays,
mid
it's
2000s.
like, hey, there's
Soon as-
running back for days. We
soon
don't need
as-
to pay this guy this much.
the era of like LT. That's like when things started changing when T got old, and then like AP was used for a good long time. They wrote him, but other teams started going towards passing way, and Steve Jackson traded, and then the whole league.
It's just a different philosophy because, like Mom said back then, you pay the money for the guy. But nowadays, you can get 3, 4 just young guys that will play hard, and then once they stop playing hard, you get rid of them and get a new one.
It
That's
doesn't
kinda how
help
it
because
is.
each year, some teams they end up finding hidden gems with the running backs, and then so it's like, well, we're not gonna risk signing this guy to a big contract because we could, stumble across one of these little hidden gems. And
Yeah.
Because most teams they look at running back, they just think we just need a guy that can play it hard for 3 years, basically put out his body, and then once he can't do it anymore, get rid of him, get the next guy.
I agree. So we'll end on that. So when you listen to this, tell other people about this little gem and share it to the world. Week 14 picks in the books.
talk about Adrian Peterson signing with the Broncos next year.
Yeah, I ain't
What?
going to be able to afford that.
What? Yeah, 4-month contract.
Wants to play on Cowboys.
We can't have DeMarco and
Yeah,
AP.
DeMarco will leave. No contract. Bye.
You gotta choose one, Andy. Who you gonna choose?
Every Oklahoma running back there ever was.